Now, many people have this stereotype that music is created, but in fact, it's a highly structured cerebral activity because first, the physical production of the notes, you have to do the right notes, and then to put it into writing is even more complex. So how do you do this with children?
Little by little. I mean,
little by little. That's good. That's the answer to everything, really.
Yeah, little by little, because at the beginning, we received the children from 3 years old. From 3 to 4 years old, it's only experimentation. It's talking, is singing, is playing, is experimenting with different sounds and instruments, and of course, organizing the melody or the notes of a melody begins with 2 notes in the piano. And the piano we use it because it's the most easy instrument to guide 2 notes, because you have black keys and white keys, very organized. So they are going to little by little discover that they have this special design or organization of the keys, and they are going to discover that with the 2 blacks they can do some songs, and with the 3 blacks they can do another kind of songs. And they are going to discover that they can move 1, 2, 3, or the 5 fingers of a hand, and then the other hand finger by finger, and then they are going to discover how to use both hands. From 4 years old, it begins to happen that they discover that they can play with 2 hands at the same time. That is a very complicated thing. And then they are going to look for their own melodies and the melodies that they learn in the class. First, singing. Singing is the most natural thing. And for them, for most of them, they learn through singing and repeating what you do.
So I have a 2-year-old grandchild who lives in Florida. And so I'm imagining him, he's 2.5. So I'm imagining him in a half a year being in your school. And I know that, he is not big on sitting still, as any 2.5-year-old. And also I've tried with him, I even got him an electric piano, and I don't know if he even yet sees the connection between the sound of the music and the sound of the singing. So that must be a big step. But many people have this stereotype that music is this inborn gift. And I'm more a believer in how things are learned from early exposure. So, and the same with like sitting still, some kids will sit still and some kids won't. So I'm curious how you deal with this, like this kid is this type, but we're all going to have the same learning.
In our experience, we know that everyone is able to produce music. And if everyone is able to learn how to play the music, how to write the music, how to read the music. It's a matter of organization and make a process which should be very carefully planned. It should be step by step, should be reaching goals in a different ways, and starting mirroring the teacher and enjoying the strength of the music. And after, you could go deep to understand how this works and how it works. Music is an art of time. So when you understand that the man in his or her, or in the condition, in a human being condition, is not able to divide the time in equal parts naturally. That is the reason, because a human being invent the watch, the clock.
The clock.
From the beginning, you will find knots in a cord to measure how the moon phases are changing the time. So far, or today, nowadays, you have a solar chronometers to measure the time with a precision impressive.
Okay.
But the human being invent this because it's not natural to understand the time could be divided in equal parts. Music gives you the opportunity to learn that. So and this is an experience that children developing using the body as a tool.
Okay.
Walking, dancing, or making organized movements to understand the beat is something that you develop inside. When you develop inside your beat and you copy your heart, the heart is your heart, could be the heart of the music, and never stops and never wait for nobody. So beating hard is the principle of the music, and the children discover that gift that he has or she has, a heart beating. So this beat is export outside, clapping or playing a little drum. And after that, understand that every event, sound, every beat sound could be divided. So in the same time you produce one sound, you could produce 2 or 4 or 8 or 16.
Good.
When you understand that, you are already in the music.
Good.
You could choose a kind of message, dividing the time in equal parts.
Good. Great. So here's a difficult question, but all teachers are interested in this. So you have some kids maybe that you see that they are motivated to learn, like, oh, tell me, I want to know this. And other kids are possibly not there on their own will, and their parents maybe are motivated. So I'm curious what your experience is with this and how you manage it.
Well, I think that every kid is learning when they are exposed in a group to a specific thing. It doesn't matter that they don't pay attention. They observe in a magical way everything that is taught and done in that classroom. I have the experience. I'm teaching for like many, many years. I mean, I don't want to tell it because they are going to know my age. So and I had the experience that I had from 4 to 10 children together in a music classroom. And some of them are just distracted, doing another thing. They are not singing the song. They are not playing the song with the group. The majority of the group are doing the things that I do. They are playing, they are singing, but 1 or 2 of them, they are not doing nothing, or they are distracted, or they are walking around the classroom. It doesn't matter. The parents are mostly very preoccupied by this situation, but it's normal because at certain age, that happens frequently. So you let it go. Sometimes you do some activity that can attract these children or this specific child that is distracted. But in some months, you are going to see that he's singing the song as everybody else, and that he's playing the song as everybody else, and that he is playing the notes in the piano, and you didn't realize that he was learning. And so I say, almost all the time, I say to the parents, don't worry. He's not doing something right now, but he's going to do it at the end of the year. 1 year, yes. You need to wait some months. You need to be patient.
Yeah.
It happens. Anyway, it happens.
In this time, just to complete or to add information to Eugenia, is expectation of the family should be clearly different with the results, because the results are a Gauss curve. Is a regular population the way
Behavior.
behavior that permits we going to have fast learners, slow learners, and a middle varianza where you will find the whole or the majority of the group. It's important to know also that not necessarily because you are studying music, you will be Beethoven.
Yeah.
Because, there is the reality are genius in everything. And not necessarily all of people have to be a genius.
Yes.
So it's important for the families to understand that the regular development of the student will be in this curve of Gauss, understanding that you will have people very fast learner or students a little more slow, but all of them will add one skill for the future of their life.
Yes, and that skill is, in terms of my book, it's a real myelinated pathway. It's a real physical pathway in their brain that not only can help them to learn other skills, just because it's that confidence in learning. So it's the positive feeling about their ability to learn, as well as the habit of learning. So I'm curious, so how does a child transition from being into a group to having one-on-one lessons, and how are the parents involved in the lessons?
Well, regularly they begin in a group, they learn these different activities in an ensemble, and they learn also different social skills. For music, that is very important because in some cases they are going to play in an ensemble. And you see that in this case, that we saw some specific students that they have a real ability or they are faster learners. They are going to develop faster, and you as teacher, you're going to separate them. That is a natural process. So, and little by little, they are going to change their attitude also to the learning process. And you are going to see that after 1, 2, or 3 years, you need to be careful in this selection process. I see it all the time. This child is already ready to go to individual class because he's a fast learner, or he has a special ability, or he has a special emotion to music. That is also important. He is so emotional, and so some children are so happy when they are playing or when they are singing. Or also you can find children that they feel much better. They don't know why or how, but they are feeling much better when they play or sing. They have problems at home, perhaps, but they come here and they see that they are happy because they are singing or playing. They want to come. And that is the time or the situation that you say, okay, this child needs to go alone in a class, or this child needs to go alone because then he's going to do a group or could belong to an ensemble or a music group. It's an experience also in not only in the teaching but also in the playing that makes us recognize these special moments and persons.
Okay.